What's the wow feeling?
Well, that had a bigger reaction than I expected. So,
Which was?
yeah, I know. I'm trying to think how to describe.
Too much? Scary?
Not scary. No, 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 no. Very interesting.
So what I'm consciously paying attention to right now, which I never did until about 2 years ago, when I read a blog was sent to me because I've been teaching a writing class in Germany and emphasizing the importance of the smile, which is what my mom did to me on the side of the writing arena. Smile, dear. Mm-hmm. And what this blog said is that when we smile, it activates the serotonin, the feel-good hormone, and the oxytocin. And then she sent me another person like this. A couple of days later, sent me this blog that showed this little instrument about an inch with a little wire on it and a handle, and you scrape right here for seizures. The person's having a seizure, you scrape right there because it is the closest connection you can get with this little instrument to where the vagal nerve ties in.
That's where you are now?
Right there, yes, where my forefinger is in there. And so I, holy mackerel, because that's what Elinor is going to be talking with us about, the vagal nerve, and it connects all the way down to the floor of the pelvis. All of that, all of this, the heart, everything. I mean, that's what like gives me goosebumps when Elinor talked about the vagal nerve and where it seats itself in the floor of the pelvis. Is that correct? My understanding. So I had already realized from years of finding that with dogs and cats and people, we can stop seizures with this movement in the ear right there. I mean, I had it with a woman on a plane, standing in line to get on a plane, and suddenly I saw this woman next to me collapse against her husband, and I said, "Do you want help?" And he said yes, and I just did what I'm doing to you. I didn't do it 1 minute. In the meantime, they'd sent for a wheelchair for her. Somebody had called the attendant. And in less than a minute, she was standing straight. She walked on the plane, and she was fine. And this has to do, from what we've now seen, the vagal nerve. Now, Elinor and I were talking on the phone, and Elinor was having a terrible bout from the flu, and she'd lost the moisture right on the eyes. The doctor had her on cortisone drops, wasn't helping at all, and she was ticked off with the doctor, right? And how did we find this trigeminal nerve? I know it was a discussion. Either it was a blog or something about the trigeminal nerve, and you must have found it. How did we find that?
It floated into my head and out of my mouth. Literally, I was lying in bed.
She's had lots of those moments.
Yeah, and it came into my head just saying, "It's your trigeminal nerve."
And it's
so I went and looked it up. And that's the nerve that comes from the base of the brain. It runs along the vagal nerve and it goes to the lacrimal ducts, which are your tear ducts that are up in your eyes. And it was infected from the virus that I had. And so I started going to the trigeminal nerve behind my ear, which is where she is with her thumb. And the moment I made a soft pull to it, immediately my eye went, "Oh my God, there's a relief." And then within a matter, I did it literally because it was so severe. I don't do things mildly, so it was that severe. And I did it every few minutes for the next couple hours, and the swollen red blood vessels, which you could see from across a room, you couldn't close the eyelids, was gone, 100% gone. I mean, that was it. And the waxy substance that comes from the lacrimal ducts was back to functioning in one day.
The interesting thing is that we had people, I remember people, two people in my age, right? Those older ones in their 70s.
Yeah, dry eyes.
Be in the class and get improved hearing from just this, with the ear work that we're doing, stretching, taking the ear out and sliding out, just stretching, and have actually be able to differentiate the voices in the room, which is a really awful thing when you can't differentiate. That's what happened to me in Houston, by the way, when I was there. You know, I had an ear thing going on, totally cleared up with the Venus. That was the only thing that did it. And so the thing that was so interesting, why I'm saying that, is that the trigeminal nerve, it's not just the eyes. You see that these lines that come from the eyes, the whole smell, nose, all the teeth, the jaw, all the stuff that as you get a little older, you deal with teeth and gums. Really interesting how you can improve that yourself with just minutes of that little circle with the tip of the thumb, and then a slide outward. And if you do it all along the back, I'm sure it's going to affect, well, we know it affects, from experience, we realize that it affects so much. Can you see why I wanted this here, Jim?
So now, when you were down on my earlobe, so
Yeah.
down in this part more, and I
Right.
said, wow,
Yeah?
what happened was this stopped.
Stop pulling, you mean?
Yeah, and this never stops pulling.
Okay.
And so then you were talking, so what I did was I reached around with this hand to do this to double check if it was still there. I know that sounds really corny, but it's because this is always tight and this is always aching. And in doing what you were doing, this has got movement to it.
And where was the spot on your ear that happened for you?
When she was pulling down
And
more
right
towards the
there.
lobe.
Right,
Yeah,
it was right in this
Mm-hmm.
point
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
vagal nerve.
that's it, yeah.
So right where the vagal nerve comes in. Cool, huh?
Mm-hmm. That was a wow moment.
Susanna, what are you thinking?